football team truly in phase with each other, playing off of the success of the other group, capitalizing on that, and being able to expand on that as a football team and understand what that feels like for us moving forward. So any team in this league that doesn't finish in Arizona holding the trophies, I feel like they've got to improve. And I sure know that that's going to be a main goal, regardless of tonight's outcome. It's going to be about improving our football team, personally getting better for our guys and our coaches. I feel like I've learned a lot this year. I feel like I'm ready for what's out in front of us because of the leadership I get to work with, the leadership on the team.
I should use my focus to pick up Pinto's trail. Those must be Pinto's tracks. Let's hope I can catch up to him. Looks like the avalanche destroyed most of the climbing path. The missing soldier must have climbed up this way. Pinto made it past here. The path must have collapsed after him. Maybe I can glide across. A rush of air. I need to get past this trench. I should be able to pick up Pinto's tracks again.
Get out of my way!
Let's hope that's Pinto. Looks like he could use some help.
Who's there?
A friend! Penta?
Do I know you?
Wakata sent me. We need to get off this mountain, now.
No. I'm not... Here, take this.
Looks like the trail carries on here.
You know my name, but I don't think I've caught yours.
It's Aloy.
You sure you want to involve yourself with the Bulwark's biggest loser, Aloy?
I like to make my own judgments about people.
You know, it's not like everyone can be born with... What was that?
It's a dead end.
There's a climbing spike left over from the original path. Not that it's of much use right now. Sorry. You're back. We still have to climb our way up the mountain.
Stay put. If I use my pole caster on that climbing spike, I could reach the other side. I might have to jump to get a hold of it.
I want to circle back on this again.
That was amazing!
I'll knock this tree down! It should let us reach the climbing path!
You won't hear me complaining.
Was 3 versus 6, Cincinnati, Baltimore versus 2.
Don't know where that leads, but I'll wait till you're done.
Switch those. Buffalo, Baltimore. Cincinnati, 3-7 versus 6-2. You know, that's not a huge difference. And
We should be able to jump onto that climbing path from the tree.
covered it. We have to play Cincinnati and Denver. The Bengals and Ravens have to beat up on each other. You talk about how tough the AFC West is. You got to circle over the coast. You got to fight, get out of this. We lose these games, we beat up each other. Now we just got to play each other again. And maybe our record's a little bit better if we didn't have to play. Now we got to play them again. So again, I think it's worth exploring.
I'll just wait here for you. That's some climbing gear you've got.
Thanks. It's time to start climbing.
That doesn't sound like any storm wind I've ever heard.
Almost there! This is it.
I can't believe we actually made it.
Let's get to that summit then. We can handle it. Come on.
on! Come on! This way, Aloy.
Wait up!
Yes. When I blast out, I have $1 million ways in the silence, so you can say the silence too. You've got a $5 million capture. I just use it. I want to go, yes, you can play, but was it good enough to get out there? Not I think I can do better with a talking about seeing this map, that's the listening to me is I want guys who feel like they want to back work over. That's the dream, right? They're not impossible at the end of the job. And I think that's better than what I saw from that last guy this year. Pretty easy. Yes, you can do this. But he's doing them well. He's doing them better, but that's a relative statement. This year wasn't playing. Glasgow's not going to get you that. He's on his way backwards. He's good as he's ever gone, and never been. Probably going to be a little bit worse. So, I would move on from Glasgow and find someone else who have right outside, or center guard. But I would absolutely move back. And how the money works out, you could probably extend it before that next happened even more. You probably need a Grand Glasgow type of player to be for second half. You're playing backup.
Storm. It's easing up.
Much better at
So,
left tackle than right tackle, but he's a
how does
backup
it feel to make
caliber
rank?
left tackle.
Pretty great,
Well,
actually.
there's not much value out there for if
This
you can only play singular
means
position on the
everything to me.
offensive line at the back. Now,
You know,
if you are a god,
Even if you go
level
back
prospect,
with that, it doesn't mean they'll
so
treat
yeah,
you
this
any
is pretty
different.
crazy. I mean,
Honestly, I
games
think
at 4x
I just need to
resolution,
prove to myself I could do this.
new Snapdragon Gen 2
You should go back.
power.
Let the others know I'm okay. I'd like to take a moment, if you don't mind. I'll be right behind you.
Of course.
Thank you.
What's going on, everybody? It's GTA Prime back here again today. But I will be testing out a few more here in this
I can probably reach the bottom of the trail faster if I use my shield wing.
test it.
And get a nice view, too.
Well, but for this, I'm going to go to the Skyline and test out. Another one that I did try to run in was Mario Odyssey with Skyline, but remember, it's still early for this anymore. Lots of graphical difficulties, but we're at 60 FPS in handheld mode. Full speed, not a problem. It's actually ran pretty well on the Snapdragon Gen 1. I think that did test this on the 388, and it wasn't bad at all. Skyline has definitely come a long way. It's out there in the future for this industry. I'm personally not a huge Switch emulation fan, just because
Get used to this.
on the market. I mean, you can pick up a Switch Lite, it's already a handheld. So gaming on the built-in screen with the Red Magic 8 Pro is awesome, but one of my favorite things about this is the fact that it does support display over USB Type-C. We're going to get a couple different modes. As soon as we plug it in, we're going to be in mirror mode. We've got a wide
Everything looks so peaceful now that the storm has passed.
I think past if you want to, but you will run into latency. But we've got another mode here that is console mode. It's a Switch. We're not on console. It's a full screen picture. You can scale all of your applications up. This is one that it supports controllers, it supports a mouse and keyboard. By the way, this monitor does have USB Type-C variant, but you can always use USB Type-C and HDMI down. So basically, once you plug this phone on, you've got a console. You can play a bigger native Android game. As you can see, no black bars from top or the bottom. Scale it up to 65 or whatever aspect of it is. We're going to keep it 60 by 10, 65. I haven't tested a whole lot of We've still got some performance functionality that we're updating for them, so we would advise mode with it, but I do think this is really especially for competition. We've also got some settings for the controller. Change the sensitivity of the mouse, or you can use the built-in trackpad on the phone screen. We're going to test out Asphalt 9 here. I've got an Xbox controller connected over here. Basically, any emulator or game is going to scale up just fine. And by the way, we do have plugins to kind of map our controller in case you do that you're using controllers. Or you can use the mouse if you want it. So really awesome to see it built in with the Red Magic control. But my favorite thing to do on this external display is emulate.
Pack's full.
The rest
I can get it from my stash later.
And this is the game I was talking about. God of War 2. As we know, even on the Snapdragon Gen 1, it's been a big struggle there. But on the Gen 2, we're actually at 4x resolution with HDR. And we're running with that full 60 FPS. This thing is definitely going to be an innovation. We'll have a full video from it soon. So yeah, this is definitely the guys in the equation. It's the most powerful Android device. In 6 months, here we'll get something a bit more powerful. That's how technology works. But as it sits right now, the Snapdragon Gen 2 paired up with the Infinity System 3 is absolutely powerful. Right now, definitely. I love the new design. I'm glad they didn't go with the old red magic look on the rear end. I personally love the screen that they have here. I'm a huge fan of these AMOLED displays. Coming in at 6.8 inches at 120 hertz, perfect for a mobile device out there. Now, I know some people out there might be upset that they didn't go with 144 or 165, but there's not a lot of stuff that we're going to be running at 144 and 165 on a mobile device right now. But overall, I think it's a great device. And like I mentioned, I will have a full emulation video coming out, so if there's anything specific you want to see, let me know in the comments below. I wouldn't mind making, a full console mode video, testing out a bunch of stuff there for you. If that's something you're interested in, it would be cool if you hit that subscribe button. That's the notification. But that's going to wrap it up for my first look video. If you're interested in learning more about the Red Magic Pro Plus or even the Red Magic Pro, I'll leave links to their website in the description. And I'd also like to know what you thought about the performance of the Snapdragon 22. I was actually hoping for a little better single core performance when it comes to those synthetic benchmarks. But, I'm going to chalk it up the software right now. There is a chance we will get a little better when we compare it to the Snapdragon Plus. Still on some very firmware for what we have. This thing is definitely pushing power now. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.
Melty's here, and I am back again with Kelsey. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 3, what to look for, what the different models are, some of the different accessories, and some of our favorite games.
You guys have been asking for this buying guide for a long time, and we're finally getting to it, and I think you guys are going to really like it. Let's take a look. Alright, so we're going to start with the first model. You brought this one, which is the original PlayStation 3.
Yeah, so this is huge. I looked it up. It is 11 pounds.
It feels heavy. It's
yeah. So this is the one they first debuted. This is actually one of the backwards compatible ones, and not all of the fat ones are backwards compatible. By backwards compatible, I mean compatible with the PS2, because every single PS3 plays PS1 games. You didn't know that, which is awesome. So the PlayStation 3, the first one they put out here, it's heavy, it's big. It basically has a PS2 shoved in there. They're really prone to overheating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they're pretty cool. And when Sony debuted this at E3, they kind of got like booed off the stage. They wanted $600 for this thing when it first came out.
I remember that announcement going, wow, that's quite a bit of money for a console, right?
Steep. Yep.
Especially at the time, I was like, well, I still like my PS2. I'm totally fine, right?
Absolutely. And I personally recommend just keeping a PS2. If you find one of these for a good deal and it works, absolutely. But don't go spending the extra money off of it, because you will probably have to get it repaired at some point.
Interesting. It's funny that it's so collectible, but yet it's, it has a problem. So how can people tell, though, if it's one of the earlier ones?
The biggest tell is there's 4 USB ports on the front of this console. So, I mean, that's literally it. If it's a fat model and it's got 4 USB ports, unless someone, took out all the guts and, put a different PS3 in there, you've got yourself a backwards compatible PS3.
And now, one of the interesting things, though, about the original model was that it didn't come with a lot of hard drive space. I mean, 20 gigs
yeah.
was, I think, the minimum, right?
20 and then 60 were...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's funny because people would potentially want this today, but they would almost immediately want to update upgrade the hard drive, which you can do on the PlayStation 3, which is one of the really cool things about it.
And not only can you shove a new hard drive in there, you can also just plug in like a USB drive or an actual external hard drive. The only problem is you can only store, once you format it to work for the PS3, you can't store other stuff on it, so it's got to be your dedicated PS3 one.
That makes sense. The other interesting thing about the PlayStation 3 at the time was that they went all out. I mean, it's a Blu-ray player, which is pretty awesome. At the time when this came out, this is one of the best Blu-ray players you could buy.
Yeah.
Certainly one of the cheapest.
Just like when the PS2 came out.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Heck and Steve, and today I want to play a game. No pun intended, of course. I want to play a game called What Can I Get for $300 hard cash, including tax, from DK Oldies versus eBay. And today I've decided I want to do that with a PS2. Okay? The most sold console of all time, which means
Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back again with this week's update. All the physical releases coming to the Switch, the 16th until the 20th of January. And oh boy, it's starting to warm up. Can you feel it? At retail, we only have one, but it is a big one. And I think other companies have decided to stay well clear. Fire Emblem Engage. Yeah, destined to be the biggest Fire Emblem game since the last one. This has heroes from the series all coming together to do stuff. I don't know what stuff, because I haven't seen the trailers. I've been writing this, but we'll see. Blue-haired sword people will be trying to save the world. Colgate boy and girl are the main protagonists this time around, and the previews for channels way bigger than ours have so far been rather positive. And I hope it does well. Nice to see Fire Emblem become such a big franchise for Nintendo. Niche things can do well. Look at Animal Crossing as well. That means surely F-Zero can make a comeback. Right? Right? This is going to be a huge game, probably Game of the Year contender for many of you out there. And our executive producers, they are excited. Faye, Issa, Jennifer M, God of Resident, J-Cross7776, Parsnip Coffee, and Precision Plague have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want to purchase it, whether you're in North America or Europe, then please check the link in the description and hit comment. You can buy from Video Games Plus and support us at the same time. Remember, they have free shipping over $80 Canadian. Standard shipping is pretty cheap to US as well. They're a great company. And anyone who buys something with our links each week, they will be put into a draw to win $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Tiago L. Congratulations! You will get an email from BGP with your discount coupon included. Alright, the girlfriend Infinite Beyond the Mind is Strictly Limited Games' latest Switch physical. This is a fast-paced action platformer that's supposed to be pretty decent. Something you find on the NES. It has a really art style, and it was $2 on the eShop a couple of days ago. And I was tempted to give it a try for this video, but I couldn't be asked. You tell me in the comments if it's good or not. They have 2 cover variants available, hoping for some double-dipping dingleberries. And I don't really mean that as an insult because I just like to say double-dipping dingleberries. It makes me happy to say it. 1,500 copies of each right now. And our executive producer Instacritic has chosen this as his pick of the week. Hell is Other Demons is Super Rare's latest game, going on sale this Thursday. Only 3,000 copies, which is very low for them, but it's the minimum that they're allowed to do. So while I don't think this release is anything particularly special, it might not hang around for long like most of their titles do. And you know, we've been doing this video series for like 3 years. Sometimes there are certain games out there where you don't have a whole lot to say about it. And they're mostly Super Rare games for some reason. Because as they often like to publish, it kind of looks like every indie game ever made. Maybe I'm just jaded because it does have positive reviews over on Steam and stuff like that. So while I can't be asked to care about it, I'm sure some others out there do. Be there on Thursday. Nefasto's Misadventure is a bit of a mysterious one. It's going up for pre-order on Crystal Love's website on the 16th. I don't know if it will turn up at retail or not, but my feelings in my jimmies, I don't know what my jimmies are, but I'm getting the feeling that it won't be at retail. But either way, there's a standard edition and a collector's edition coming, and this is an adventure game, a bit point and cookie type of stuff, and it's set within a broken game. Like, the code for the game is messed up, and you have to, like, jump in and solve the puzzle, something like that. It's a bit of a weird one. Very interesting, though. Check it out at Pix and Love's website on the 16th. Hyper Sentinel is available for pre-order at VGNY Soft today, apparently. If you pre-order in the first 24 hours, you also get a pre-order bonus, which is arcade style, but going proper old school, like almost Atari levels of simplicity. But what they've done here, as all classic style games in the modern era do, they've dialed up the effects and made it melt your brain. An LSD trip of a game that is positively regarded. The gameplay is simple but addictive. Apparently a love letter to a game called Iridium, which I've never heard of, but Commodore 64 fans just spunked in their underwear. Like, just natural, instinctive spunkage. They can't control it. If they hear Iridium, it's like, done. Now, if you weren't aware, last week something funky went on with limited run games. They were all up in the controversy, and from my perspective, it was absolutely glorious. I've never seen a company do something that backfired so spectacularly. I'm sure you all know what it's all about right now, and I'm not going to get into it because that's seriously a 20-minute video in of itself, and I've got like 4 games I need to play right now. So I'm not going to go into it, but it's already been done to death. After this video has finished, all you gotta do is go onto YouTube search and type in limited run games, and you will see everything you need to know. All the drama alert leeches, they came on board, and they went into it more than I can possibly go into it. And they're paid way more than me. I'm not paid enough to talk about this kind of stuff. What I'm getting at is, because their social media was an apocalyptic wasteland, like they disabled people from replying, and they needed to sweep this controversy under the rug as quickly as humanly possible. So they've been pounding the announcements, and I am 100% sure they brought this announcement way forward just to get some, like, positive media attention. Return to Monkey Island is available to pre-order on the 20th at Limited Run Games. Now, I've heard this is probably getting a retail release even in Europe, but if you don't want to risk it, just waiting, Limited Run are here for you in a standard and collector's edition. Guybrush Threepwood returns. I've heard nothing but great things about this new entry in the Monkey Island franchise, but as art style. I love the remakes of Monkey Island 1 and 2, and the Telltale game, that was fun too. So I was hoping this would get a physical release, and of course, it did. But I'll wait for the retail release, to be honest. And our executive producers, they're excited. Boombox, Born Metal Luna, Alex M, Punky Brewster, and Dane Wilkinson have chosen Monkey Island as theirs. Arafel and Rise of the Third Power is another one of Limited Run Games this week.
Aloy,
this is
you have any news?
RPGs from the same
Please.
developer. Arafel,
I need to know what happened to my brother.
Back when we tried experimenting with outsourcing to writers, that was fun to do, but it was a bit of hassle for me personally to organize everything.
I should be reaching the bottom of the trail soon.
The writer,
Pinto can't be far
very
behind.
lovely, by the way. She didn't particularly like Arafel,
Aloy,
although
you
perhaps
return
she
alone.
liked the strange.
Where is he?
A lot of people do actually
He's
like
my
it,
brother.
so yeah. Make
You
your
can't
own
go
mind
crying
up.
like that,
Arafel
Jekka.
and its second
You're the
game,
sister of a
Rise
proper
of the
soldier
Third
now.
Power. That's like
Pinto.
a video game of theirs, although I always want to say Rise of the Third Reich.
I
for
bring you the
whatever
blood
reason.
crest as proof of my march.
Although, to
With
be
my
honest, Rise
blessing,
of the Third Reich, that
you join our ranks.
Hell is
May
Other
you find
Demons
your
is
path
Super
on the
Red's
wings
latest
of the
game
Ten.
going on sale this
You've got to be kidding me.
Nefasto's Misadventure is a
Soldier?
bit of a mysterious one. It's going up for pre-order. on
Flower
the
or no
website
flower,
on
we
the
all
6th.
know all he'll ever
I
be
don't
good
know
for
if
is
it will
cleaning
turn up retail
everyone's
or not,
shit.
but my feelings in my jimmies, I don't know what my jimmies are, but I'm getting the
I
feeling
think
that
we're
it
done
won't be
here.
retail. But either way, there's a standard edition and a collector's edition coming, and this is an adventure game, a bit point and cookie type of stuff, and it's set within a
Better
broken
put some
game.
snow on that.
Like the
I'll
code
get
for the
bruised.
game is messed up, and
Thanks
you
for
have
saving
to
my
like
life.
jump in and solve the puzzle.
Maybe when I get my
Something
old soldier's
like
mark,
that.
we
It's
can
a bit
fight
of a
in the same
weird one.
squad.
Very
Give me
interesting,
a chance
though.
to return
Check
the
it out.
favor.
Shape-shifting detective is their third game this week, going up for pre-order on the 17th.
He's cute.
I don't know about
Go on.
you, but when it comes
I'll
to
catch
cover
up.
art in video games, I demand a middle-aged
Something
balding
to
looking
commemorate
rather
our climb.
perplexed. It's like I'm
May the
looking at
10
myself
always
in
grant you
5
victory,
years'
Aloy.
time.
I'll see you around, Pinto.
Right? Do you want a picture of me on your shelf? I find it hilarious because I don't want to be judgmental about target audiences, but limited run target audience are mostly 30 to 40-year-old men. Don't deny it. Not everyone. Don't fight me, limited run. And this game, Shape-Shifting Detective, if you just Google it, okay? Google Shape-Shifting Detective. You will mostly see images of a very attractive young lady who also stars in the game. Now, I'm not saying you should objectify ladies, but you should be objectifying ladies. Come on, you want to sell more games? Do it. Gamers are mostly deviants. We've established that. You can sell like at least 3 times as many units with a nice girl on the frontage rather than a 38-year-old Jordan. Just saying, this is an FMV from Wales Interactive. They usually do good stuff from the couple that I've played. The Bunker is their 4th and probably final game this week. I wonder if that's a nod at their disabling replies and avoiding talking about their controversy. They've bunkered into criticism. Another FMV I've not played, but I think this was one of their early ones on the Switch. It's like playing a movie. As I said about Shape-Shifting Detective, these are actually pretty decent, although of course the mileage will vary because there's not much in the way of replayability. You're watching a movie for 2 hours and then you're done with it. You can pre-order this on the 17th as well. Alright, we're heading into the imports. We're heading into Play Asia territory. Yeah, if you want to import any of the games shown here, then please consider using the Play Asia links below in the description and pinned comment. Play Asia always will be the #1 way to support us. Thank you ever so much. And if you click our link, you can also get something back. Yeah, we can give you 5% off if you click our link and then use the code SWTV23. That's SWTV23 for 5% off any physical item from Play Asia. Alright, this week it is a big import week. Space for the Unbound. This is a gorgeous looking adventure game set in 90s Indonesia. It's about 2 high school sweethearts who get tangled up in some supernatural weirdness. Now I can't say too much about it since I do have a review of this coming up. I've almost finished editing it together. So if you would like to know my thoughts about it, be there. I think it's Wednesday, and you will see I can't like this game. But I'm not allowed to say that. This is not getting a Western physical, at least not that's announced as of yet, but both the Japanese and the Asian version are available for import and do have English. And if you like adventure games with a strong narrative and nice characters, you may want to pick it up. And our executive producer, Brett McLean, Viz, I'm a Robotech have chosen this as Never Awake is another one you're going to want to take a look at if you're a shooter fan. This is a multi-directional shooter with a very unique art style, very atmospheric, and even has a bit of narrative to it. Once again, I'm forbidden from reviewing my security thoughts. You'll have to look for that. But yeah, this is an import exclusive. It does have English. You can just play this There is a standard edition, as well as a collector's edition, which includes artwork, soundtrack to use, looks lovely. You won't go there. The cartoons are until this has the movie. Trivia story is a little. Well, the website is finished doing the English translation. And yeah, I had to like watch a random live stream from Japan to find that information. It took me a long time to find it, but yes, it will have English
Whoever's in charge
eventually.
and stop them from
And
causing
I don't
any more
know if
harm.
that's going to be updated onto the cartridge. I don't know what's going on there, but they are working on English in some capacity. So I really apologize for misleading people out there. You know, I told you it would have English. I had 2 sources that told me it would have English. It turns out, I'm sorry for that. I do try my best to pre-ordered this. You either trust your Restore, or trust your other Defensive Legacy, or the double pack that comes that includes 2 games in one. Cancel it. Like I did. I cancelled my pre-order because it was English. And you may want to wait for like the updated information. Like if English ever gets patched onto the Japanese cartridge, I will let you know. Okay? Football Manager 2022 is releasing in Asian region this week with English on the cartridge. This is just a completely random release. I have no idea where this has come from, but I am vaguely interested because I love Football Manager. During university, they almost ruined my degree because I was so addicted to Football Manager. And I don't want to get on that train again because, you know, I would like to keep YouTube afloat. But anyways, there's no Western physical release of this, and I don't know why it's getting an Asian release. It seems completely random, but it does have English, and I might pick it up just because why not? In Japan, they also have 3 more games, not only in Japan but Asia as well. You can see them right here, and yeah, I don't need to do any more of that. Alright, before we get into the community spotlight, I would just like to plug a bit more Jordan, because even though last week I said I wasn't sure when my Suikoden 2 review would go public, well, it went public on Tuesday. So if you've got 3 hours to spare, go check it out. I think it turned out pretty well, aside from a very ill-advised singing part. I really regret that part. I'd appreciate it if you went over there and had a look. It is good, honestly. And next, I'm working on Parasite Eve. And I've almost completed that game already. Nice and short-ish. Alright, the spotlight section. Firstly, me. Well, today I'm going to talk about my favorite Alan Partridge character, Lynn. Oh wait, this is a video game, not a British comedy. My mistake. This is a pretty obscure release from Red Art Games. It was one of their low-key announcements back when they had like a flurry of games in a short space of time. So I think this one went on the radar. And I can see why, because it's primarily a mobile game, which, you know, immediately sets off alarm bells. But after playing it for like an hour, it's actually alright. It's not too bad, like a 6 out of 10 kind of game. It has the essence of a portal winner, but you do have a bit more control than normal. At each stage, you have to get to the gate while collecting things along the way. The whole vibe is very chill, even though it can be quite challenging to get through some of the goals for each level. When I was playing it, my brain just sort of shut off and I got into the zone.
I am.
I don't know if I was enjoying it, but it did have my full attention. It's not one of the best ever,
We're moving out. Back to the bulwark.
I thought I'd bring it to your attention because really, I almost haven't seen this at all. It has some nice chill artwork on the front, and it is one of their cheapest games that they've ever done. It's like 25 euros. If you want it, you can purchase it. Support us at the same time. Click the link in the description. I will support you with 10% off with S+1 at RedOutGames.com. But please, the link in the description.
Going down.
Alright, on to Eula. Executive producer Alex M sent in this photo showing off some nice games. Yes, Gambit Afterlife isn't one that I've seen too often here, even though it's sort of a very positive. Maybe people are just tired of 2D Souls, like, I don't know. Andrew Rulas sent in this photo showing off plenty of action-style games. He's already in games that I really want to play this time, and it's right up my alley. It's retro enough to satisfy itch. Executive producer Cartoon Soren obviously got in a package from the limited run. Gotta give credit where it's due. That Valis Collection artwork does look very lovely indeed. Executive producer Instacritic sent in photos showing off some interesting and
This must be the start of the climb.
I had no idea
Watch how I
Rain
should
in Your
be at the
Parade and Wunderling were being sent out by New Edition games so soon. If you want to get them, you can also support us with the links in the description. JB and Minot sent in this photo. Now, I'm sure the game is pretty good, but damn, that Boulder Dash Deluxe artwork is ill-advised. Kid
Skydrifters.
Kevlar sending this photo
Circling the
showing us the
watchtower.
collector's edition of
That's not a good sign.
Yoshihime-sama, which I've seen quite a handful of you get. Limited run overall, their sales have been pretty low these days, but these shmups, they still do the business for them. Radio Tarantis sending this photo of the Japanese collector's edition of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, that does have English. Sadly, the other one, the Medarot collection, does not. Executive producer Robotech sending this photo, getting in the absolute beast of an edition for Clockwork Aquario. Fun game, but not sure why they were absolute all out with that collection. They seem so way overboard. Psych Villain, thanks so much for the donation. I hope you had a happy new year as well. They're sending this photo showing off 3 games, including Ultra 8, which sneaked out in North America finally, distributed by Limited Run. Don't know why it took them so long. Totally Simon, thanks so much for using our link to purchase some of these games from PlayAsia. Really appreciate the support. There's a lot to look at here, a lot of visual novel stuff. Actually, VN Paradise went on a hiatus, along with a bit more Jordan due to some
closer to the watchtower.
administration issues. But once
Looks
things
like I have to
settle
climb
down,
higher.
I'll get down to making more videos over there, maybe next week or after. Win, thanks so much for using our link to purchase these games, very much appreciated. I did get a comment the other day, someone bemoaning the lack of import exclusives that are racing games. And it's a fair point. It's a genre that Asia doesn't seem to care much for. The only ones I can think of off the top of my head is Rush Rally and...
I gotta take out these machines before I can look around.
Alright, let's have a roundup. Adam J. Switchback. Ashura G. Ayla. Flynn. Lundara. Last Urabu. That's it. Not many pictures this week. They're just saving time. Alright, so what about you? More Captain First by that. We have an email, whichwatchspotlight@gmail.com, and a Discord, where the server should be looking to in the submission server, whatever it's called. So please only send me one picture. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Let's Get Physical. Special thanks to Executive Producer Dave Wilson, Stella Rosen, Boombox, John McLean, Sam Crosby, Alexander Cato, Computer, Carlton Florence, Robotech, C, Even Knight, Zach, Dave, The Traveler Glancer, Liz, Jennifer M, Instapatic, Precision Play, Tadaka, Osgodo, Totally Grateful, and Alex M. Thank you ever so much. Where's you? Yeah, you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, what an absolute legend you are. If you didn't watch all the way through, you know, leave me, what do we got? We've got Monkey Island, Reading a Monkey, or Island emoji, or a Monkey Island emoji, up to you. Or a banana, whatever takes your fancy. And yeah, we'll try to get more Jordan for a lot more. Seriously, I feel like 7 big videos now. What else we got? Oh, yeah, this week. Never await the review. A Space for the Unbound review. And probably something else. I was planning on like doing like another game, maybe, but I don't know if I can. I don't want to promise anything that I can't. But wait, maybe something will happen. Take care. Bye.
Here I come! Judging by these wounds, the Skydrifter surprised him. At least it was quick. Kiva sounded her horn. It's a different call from before. I'd better get back down to the watchtower and check on them.
Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, how do I start playing Standard? Standard is a 60-card constructed format for Magic the Gathering, whose card pool is made up
The
of the
Watchtower's
most
under
recent
attack.
primary expansion sets. Once a
Get down
year,
there
with the
fast.
release of the fall set, sets from 2 years ago rotate out of the format to make way for the upcoming year of new releases, and the barrier to entry is
Swooping into
much
battle.
lower than in
Those
Magic's
machines are in for a
non-rotating
surprise.
formats. In fact, due to the small pool of legal cards, barrier to entry is lower than any other Magic format except Pauper. That
What of the
includes,
10
by the
Outlander
way,
glides?
Commander. Standard is also the most common constructed format for most games describing events. If games are near you, chances are that they have a Standard event that you can play in. These events tend to be welcoming environments for players new to Standard and even new to Magic the Gathering. In this video, I will cover how to build a Standard deck, how to find a Standard tournament, what to expect get. I'll also get into how advanced the deck is in Standard meta, as well as where to find more information. You decide you want to take which direction into it. Let's begin with Step 1. The first thing you're going to need in order to play Standard is space. Standard decks are made up of 60 cards with a side pool of 15 cards. Apart from the basic language, you may play Standard decks contain no more copies of cards. The cards in your deck must come from full legal Standard sets. So how do you know what's legal and Standard, you might ask? Standard the Gathering is comprised of sets from the previous 2 years of Magic the Gathering, with rotation happening once per year. Set. Currently, the sets legal and Standard are every primary expansion set from Innistrad Midnight to present. Sets such as Baldur's Gate and Jumpstart 2022, as well as reprint sets such as Valerian Master and Double Masters, are not legal and Standard. For a fast, easy, and up-to-date list of the legal sets in Standard, you can always reference what'sinstandard.com. But just knowing what's legal in Standard is not enough to build a Standard deck. How do you begin, and what deck does one begin with? There are a number of methods for determining which Standard deck you'd like to construct. Perhaps
Thanks for the assist.
a card for Standard
Is
that
Ezekiel on
you've
his way
got
down?
from a booster pack you opened,
Actually,
a draft you played in,
machine
or
is
commander deck you've built.
Took him by surprise. I'm sorry.
What? He was the first of the squad. Our best fighter.
He's gone, Kiva. It's just the two of you now.
Damn, Dakota. All we did
So
was
you
go to the
consider yourself
embassy.
well
Follow Chief Akaro's orders? And what do we get for it? A death sentence dressed up as guard duty. All because Takote has a vendetta against the chief.
Well, that ends now.
Yeah. Thanks, Outlander. Here. This is for you.
Commander deck you've built,
Puvalo!
and you want to build around that.
We're moving
Maybe you
out.
don't own any Standard cards, but you have a favorite color pair. Or maybe you just want to play what's strongest, or you'd prefer to brew your own Standard deck. If you don't know where to
Dakota's
start,
politics
the current
got one of
deck
those soldiers
recommended by
killed.
Valerian Community College is
But at least the other two get to go home.
this deck is cheap, easy to learn, and a ton of fun to play. The goal of the deck is to keep your opponent off balance long enough to cross the finish line with big serpents and flying creatures. Bounce their creatures, counter their best spells, and keep your hand stocked with more interaction thanks to the powerful card draw spells, Thirst for Discovery, and Flow of Knowledge. Best of all, this deck will run you less than $40, and $10 of that is simply the playset of Haughty Djinn, the deck's premier threat. Haughty Djinn is not just a big basic creature, it also makes your instants and sorceries cheaper. If you cast a Haughty Djinn with 1 extra mana up, you'll be able to back it up with counter magic such as Make Disappear, and protection spells such as Slip Out the Back.
This deck would provide an excellent introduction into the standard format for any newcomer. It's good enough to go toe-to-toe with the other best decks in the format, and the financial investment is minimal. Best of all, the core threat base of the deck, aptly named Telarity and Terror, were printed in Dominaria United just this past fall. That means that foundation will still be legal even after the next revision in September of 2023. But maybe you're looking for something a little more advanced, or you want to pave your own path in the standard. If that's the case, I recommend checking out the site MTG Goldfish for a list of the most popular decks in standard. This will not only provide you with inspiration for what deck you might want to play, but will also prepare you for what you might face after the first standard event. The metagame breakdown page on MTG Goldfish lays out every standard deck with any published results, including published results from Magic's online clients, which means it is a very accurate overview of the meta, what decks are winning and what decks you are likely to face. Even if you already know what standard deck you want to play, decks on that. It'll help you see the trends for what your opponents might be running. In the current standard, singles from your local game store first. Your local game store
I wonder how much snow is going to pile up.
You actually need for standard. Again, these systems are what Tolarian Community College loves because they both start and end with playing Magic the Gathering cards you crack with packs. The nice thing about standard is the majority of decks are cheaper than a similar deck would be in other constructed formats, not named common. And oftentimes, the most expensive cards you are buying are expensive that you see play in other formats too. Cards like Triumph will be staples in Commander, Pioneer, and Modern forever. And most of the expensive non-land cards are at the very least going to be good in Pioneer. So while yes, those Sheoldreds you picked up for your standard Grixis deck were extremely expensive, they are likely going to retain that value and can be repurposed for a Pioneer Rakdos mini.
Now this'll do some damage.
Or just traded to someone who plays that deck for cards that you want to play. Also worth noting, to the end of each standard year, Wizards of the Coast releases a product known as Standard Challenger decks. Ready to play out of the box, and even come complete with a 15-card sideboard. Obviously, some decks are better than others, and some years vary, which is why you can always check out my channel's review of Challenger decks to get an idea of which ones are the best in the pack. Unfortunately, the timing for these Challenger decks release tends to be when many of the cards in them have only a few more months left before they fade out. Nonetheless, these decks are usually great value and an easy way to jump into the format. You can also upgrade them depending on the deck. While they aren't the perfect solution, they are a good point to look at for any Magic the Gathering player saying, I want to begin in Standard, but don't know where to start. Step 3. Where to play. The best way to find standard tournaments in your area is through the event locator feature on the Wizards of the Coast website. Go to locator.wizards.com, type in your address in the search bar, and click search. you'll see a list of all events in your immediate vicinity. From there, you can refine your search by distance, date, and even filter your results for event type, format, and whether a store is a Wizards Play Network premium store. You can also go directly to the website of your local game store and check out their events schedule there, or just ask the staff at the store the next time you're shopping for cards. Local standard events tend to cost between $10 and $15 depending on your area. Most of these events will be 4 rounds of what's known as a Swiss tournament structure. Each round you'll get paired against another player with a similar
Is that a cauldron?
You'll then play a
Looks like it's underwater. And heavily guarded. But if we can get to its core, should be able to find data to override new machines. This isn't gonna do much.
You can always play standard whenever you want on both of Magic the Gathering's online platforms. Unfortunately, your standard collections are transferable online. You can't build a collection on Arena just by playing. And Magic Online does have the ability to transfer digital cards into paper copies. That is a whole other thing. Suffice it to say that these two digital options mean that anyone, anywhere, can play and enjoy standard and to have a and that's all there is to it. You can now begin playing standard immediately. Standard is a fun, never-changing environment, affordable, and accessible to new players. Getting started is simple once you know what you're doing. Thinking about giving standard a shot, then go for it. Your local standard event is waiting. Looking for a format that doesn't rotate? No problem. We've got you covered with our guides to Modern and Pioneer here, as well as a guide to Draft if you are hoping to go down to your local game store. Links to all of these videos in this video's description, and I hope very much that this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out greatly, well, just by watching those other videos and by sharing those other videos with a friend, by hitting the subscribe button if you are not currently subscribed, or just by leaving a comment. What's your favorite format to play and why? Let me know in the comments below.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
I have given $50 to build a deck with, including Commander.
I've brought Safara Sky's Blade.
I'm playing Hidasugu, the wearing Chaos.
I am playing Gorex the Toontail. My deck costs only $30. What do you folks say? Shuffle and play. I go Capoeira and play an Assault Suit.
Oh, how come you know so much about that? Play Knight Incarnate, so I don't know if it's for Invoke. Ooh, Knight Incarnate. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
How do you feel about lethality?
I wouldn't be more than on lethality.
Tater, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Radioactive 03. I've been running for the last race the past 4 years, so long I've been on it. It's a really fun run. I hope you all enjoy it.
Radio's been a huge help for me with Fallout speedrunning in general, so very glad to have him here. So, what exactly is All Quest? It's completing all 31 quests within the game. The 31 quest is completing the final quest in the game when you enter in the code to the water purifier. And I'm going to quick load just to make sure at the very end to show you guys that we have 30 quests and we completed all of them.
I know that the phrase sentinel chickens does sound a bit ridiculous. These chickens here in Griffith in rural Australia are not keeping watch for anything. They're not on guard. They are just chickens, but they are helping keep folks in this area of New South Wales safe from some nasty diseases. Diseases like Murray Valley encephalitis, MVE. It infects animals, including humans, and it's carried by mosquitoes. It has no vaccine, no cure. Most people who get it will suffer fever and nausea, but about 1 in 1,000 will get seriously ill with a chance of life-changing brain injuries or death. If that virus is starting to flare up in the animal population around here, mosquito transmission means it can easily spread to humans. So it'd be really useful for the local health department to have an early warning system.
We have 8 flocks at the moment, and there are 15 birds per flock. They are usually between 9 and 14 weeks old when we get them, start of the season. They are fed, watered, and they lay eggs, and that's an additional bonus for the person that's looking after our coop. They get to keep the eggs.
Ideally, the researchers would track levels of the virus in wild animals and birds. That's where it thrives. But that plan...
Hey everyone, we're back. DF Direct Weekly, number 94. And... hold that stuff. Okay, we're going to kick off with not so much a news topic, but certainly a point of discussion that a lot of people seem intent on us wanting to talk about. And it's really simple. Obviously, with the recent release of Mortal Shell on Nintendo Switch is the latest in a series of ports that have kind of underperformed or rather haven't lived up to the performance expectations, and it's kind of creating further momentum for the argument that the Switch is running out of steam. And this is a difficult one because after March, typically that's the kind of time where we expect to see a next generation of racing. Thus far, we've seen nothing from Nintendo. John, how would you sort of rank the current situation at the moment? Because it's clear that third-party titles are struggling. Now, there's a counter-argument, of course, which is that if you target Switch from the get-go, no problems at all, because, you know, that is your primary target. But at the same time, we would expect Nintendo to be delivering those titles, and I think it's fair to say that that list of titles is kind of winding down. I mean, is there much actually confirmed after the new Zelda game this year?
That's a good question, and I would say on the first-party side, we don't entirely know yet, and that was also the case last year, I think, with 2022, and Nintendo did publish a fair amount of games for that system last year, and a lot of them were quite good. So I wouldn't say Zelda will be the only release this year. I mean, they do have that remake of Kirby from the Wii, which is phenomenal, but ultimately just a remake, and I'm sure there will be other things. Yeah, hopefully at some point Advance Wars. But I think it's pretty clear that with Nintendo, when they target the Switch hardware, there's usually not a problem. I don't see that as an issue. But it's the third-party stuff that you mentioned that is starting to become an issue. And I think it's kind of a similar situation as we saw with, like, we were talking about this yesterday, late PS3, late Xbox One, where those platforms now become more of a challenge for developers to target. They're no longer the priority anymore. They're not trying to push the latest things out and do as best as they can. And I think with the Switch, it's in the situation where most new titles now that are multi-platform are starting to target higher-end platforms as the base version, right? And then you're porting down to like Xbox One and PS4. And because the baseline is increasing, it's becoming more challenging, I think, to offer the second Switch experience. You know, it just, if you want to do that, it's going to take a lot of...
You might have beaten me, but you're still welcome to keep training.
I'm not sure
what do you say?
Dedicate those resources to making it happen at this point, and it's kind of becoming a liability. And I think it's only going to become more so when things like Unreal Engine 5 starts to gain a foothold, right? Like, conceivably, you know, we know Unreal Engine 5 doesn't work on the Switch, right?
I'll be here if you want to practice more.
But you're not going to be using the latest features of the new engine. Just art pipeline goes around that. You know, that also means that PS4 and Xbox One won't be viable for those titles, right? But those are now last gen. Switch is still Nintendo's current gen.
I mean, I was thinking about when this narrative actually began. It actually began with a first-party title, Bayonetta 3. Right?
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Bayonetta 3, though, is a weird situation because it's a very Platinum-style game. Platinum is notorious for this, for better or for worse. Like, their games just release with performance are not known for targeting and nailing.
You, Outlander.
They kind of got there a little bit with some games that were less technically.
The pit is open to you.
Advanced, like PS4 and the like, but you look at like Wonderful 101 and the review in that launch, it was an absolute mess, dropping into like the teens, 20s at times with a maximum frame rate of 60 FPS. Faded at 3 not actually that bad, but it's in that ballpark, right?
Yeah, it's I think it's just trying to show that even if you're not going for a cross-platform game and having to downgrade it to get it to run on the Switch, if you have higher ambitions, for example, your video about Bayonetta 3 did point out the fact that a lot of the areas of the game have you just kind of in like really large areas with like really big bosses and like lots of alpha to the front of the screen. Stuff that we know that the Switch isn't really good at, as in, you know, large open world titles, as well as alpha, due to the low bandwidth situation there. I think it's just trying to show that if you want to be more ambitious over your previous game, this current Switch hardware is actually going to be a main limiting factor in that. Something that new hardware would hopefully at least remedy most of the problems of the original Switch away. So I think that's the situation that it's currently in right now, where if you want to go bigger and better, which is usually what sequels do for games, you are actually limited by Switch. And regarding the current gen situation, I think Switch was really lucky that the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One had such awful CPUs, because it allowed the actual downgrading of the games. But if we look at, for example, the most recent porting efforts of games, if you go into their like NVIDIA GTC presentations about it, they actually have to do a lot of extremely low-level programming to get the performance they are getting out of the Switch, and that is a level of dedication that I don't think every studio wants to go through. They have like an entire team who's really into Switch and really dedicated to it. But
back for some training?
Easier, of course, where you're using maybe not the lowest level hardware, you're not doing like assembly kind of coding here, which I would imagine is the way you want it for a game. You should do it in a quicker, easier way, extracting as much performance as possible. You're not going to be able to do that with any of the current gen games on Switch using something like the Vulkan backend that the Switch offers and get good performance. So I think
another time, maybe.
Let me know when you're ready to finish.
Hardware to get cross-platform on your Switch the next year and a half.
Yeah, because I feel like Nintendo itself would be fine sticking with this hardware as long as possible, right? Like, I don't think their internal developers care that much. No, but it's more like if they want to retain third-party support, they kind of need to do it.
Yeah, specifically, Call of Duty was just announced to be targeting Switch in the next couple of years through Microsoft and the Activision merger, right? It was one of the.
I think they
Nintendo,
expressed the desire to do it, maybe,
or
they promised it, but I don't think it's officially happening, right?
Well, I think they're going to do it, though. We'll see. But I think that requires new hardware in general, even though those games target 60 always. It's more like, I think, to get a good experience there, it's going to require
a lot of ways to get Call of Duty onto Switch. It
doesn't
necessarily require using. First of all, they could use legacy games. They could use legacy ports. I think if they just put Black Ops Trilogy on Switch, it would just sell gangbusters.
That's a good.
Secondly, they could just put Warzone on there. There's Warzone Mobile, which they could use as a basis. There's a lot of different ways they could bring Call of Duty to Switch, which doesn't necessarily mean bringing the current generation versions to that hardware. And I think it's an agreement with Nintendo specifically, so probably with the next gen 4 if they're willing to install a model thing. I mean,